Hello friends, myself Vikas Shakya, and in this series of videos where I am discussing about the entity framework, today we will discuss about the entity framework with entity first model. Yesterday we discussed about the entity framework and we found that how we can use the schema first approach to implement the database connection in your application, in your web application, right? So today we are going to discuss about the entity first approach, right? So yesterday we discussed about the database schema first. Basically there is a table already in the database, and based on that you just create an entity in your application, and your application creates a connection string, creates a database context, and based on that it fetches the data for you, right? So similarly, today we are going to create an entity first, and based on that entity we will first create a database, a table in the database, and then we will populate the data in the database, and then we will display the same data on the on the web page, right? So let's start that one. So just go to create a new project, simply create ASP.NET web application, next, and web app entity first. I have given this name. Just create an empty project. Okay, so this is visible now. It's a bit slow. So as yesterday we just did first thing, just we move to this option, this menu option, add, and then we go to the new item, and then we again go to the data and then select this edu.net entity data model, and here we are going to create a table for some login user details. Okay, so I'm just going to create a login user detail, and then I will select this one, empty EF designer module. Okay, so this means that we are going to create the entity first in our application, and then based on that entity we will create the table in the database. Okay, so we are using this option. We will create the entity first. We can create our entity based on the requirements and based on the ER diagrams that you have prepared for your application development. You can choose that one, and then you can create your entities, right? So there are there are all flexibilities with this model. You can create the entities, you can create the association among the entities, just like you might have seen in the entity relationship diagram, right? So I'm going to just create a simple entity. I'm not going to show you the relationship between the entities, because I'm just trying to show you the basic example how you can use it. Later in later video sessions we will discuss about like how we can create multiple entities, and how we can create a relationship among those entities, and how we can create self referencing entities, and all those things which are possible using the entity relationship diagram. And we will create all those relationships using the code, using the entity first model. So let's start and create our first entity here. So I'm just going to create a new entity, add new entity. I'm going to give a name to it, login detail. Sorry, I want to give the name user login detail, and this entity name is user login detail. Then against this entity name you can see that entity set gets already updated. This value already get updated, and you can see that at the end it adds an s to show that this is a single entity, this is a single user detail, this is representing a single user detail. An entity represents a single user, a single row in the database. An entity set represents the entire table, and that's why when it creates a entity set name, it adds an s in the end to represent the set of entities, an entity set, which is a table. So whenever you will create a table in the database, whatever database you choose, in that case, it will create a new entity, a set, I mean a new table with this name, user login details in the selected database, right? Here I'm going to provide ID, property name. I'm just going to provide a property name, login ID, which will be the key property. Key property means your primary key, right? So I just clicked OK, and this is available here. If you want to see the attributes, you can see the attributes here. The store generation pattern identity, and type is int32, nullable false, it means it can never be null, and the name of the column is login ID, right? It has a public getter, which means that you can get the login ID using just like you get the value of a property of an object, the same way you can use it. Entity key is true, which means that it is a primary key, right? So similarly, if you add new properties, login ID, username, and you see here it's the type is a string, store generation pattern is none. Okay, let me tell you what is the meaning of this store generation pattern. If this store generation pattern is identity, then in that case the value for this particular column will be generated by the database engine itself. You don't need to provide the value for this column, right? So this will be generated by the database engine itself, and it will generate in a sequence like 1 2 3 4, right? So that way it will generate the values for you. Okay, so the next one was username, and in case of username, you can see that setter is also there, nullable is false. If you want to set it to true, you can do that, but why to do that? Because we need some username. Entity key, it is not the entity key. Fixed length, no, it's not the fixed length. If we say fixed length, then it will become a fixed length. Max length, you can provide a max length here, right? So whatever max will be defining, it will be available there. Can we give this? Yes, we can give this. Max length is 30. So if you want to give the username, then it cannot be greater than 30 characters. Okay, so you can only give 30 characters in the username. Now add a new scalar property. Here I'm going to give a new name. What we can do, from which country he belongs, TRY, right? So this is also the same set of properties. It's a string, it's a public setter, and the name is country, and that's it, right? So apart from this, I want to add one more property, login ID, username, country. Apart from country, what we can add? We can add one more thing, right? Like password. Okay, so these are the 4 things. Now it is added. Now if we have to use this entity, then we need to use this option, generate database from model, right? So just select this item, and you can seek a new connection here. In database server name, you can give the dot means the same the same machine on which I am running this application. The same machine is the database server as well. And here you can select the database name. I'm going to select this testdb. Okay, and then we can test a connection. Test connection is successful. Then click OK, and you will be able to see here login user detail container. And with the same name, the web.config will be updated. I told you yesterday about the web.config. So this is the unique connection string identifier using which our application will do a connection to the database and fetch the data from the database tables. Just go to the next. I'm using Entity Framework 5. Then go to the next. Then what will happen? It will just simply create a new DDL. DDL stands for data definition language. I hope you understand about the data definition language and data manipulation language. Data definition language is used for schema definition, right? Like if you create a new table, then that is a DDL. Create table statement is a DDL. Alter table statement is a DDL. Alter if you modify a column name, that's a DDL. So anything which impacts the schema is a DDL statement, data definition language statement. And when you use any query to update the database, to fetch the database columns, to update any record, to delete any record, then in that case, that particular query is known as the data manipulation language query, right? So this is that query which has been generated now. Okay, so you don't have to worry much about it now. You just need to click finish. As soon as you will click finish, you will be able to see the code, the SQL script which you need to execute to create a database table in the database. So very soon it will be generated. So it takes some time. My system is a bit slow, but will come up soon. Okay, so it came up, and here you can see that it's disconnected. First you need to connect it, and then you need to run it. Okay, so just select all the things and right click on it and just say execute. I just did a right click and just did an execute, right? So when you will execute it, it will ask you for the server name, just give a dot. Then it will ask you the database name, just select the database name, testdb, and then connect it. You will connect it and you will be able to see that all the commands have been executed successfully. This is very, very small characters these are. So that's why we might not be able to see these characters, but what happened is like these queries have been executed. And what are these queries? What are these DDLs? These are basically the DDLs. So what are these DDLs? These DDLs are creating the table user login details with these columns. Okay. These are the columns, and then it has added the primary key. That's it, right? So this is the way it has created your user login details table, and we can see that table now. If you go to the database, this is my database. If you go to the testdb, just refresh it, just open it, testdb, and just open the tables, and then you will be able to see this user login details, right? So this user login detail is already here. So you just use test. I'm using testdb, and then I will use the user login details. Let's see what happens. There are no records because there are no records in fact, right? So I will just introduce some records in this table before I move ahead with my application. I will just write insert into user login details values. The first thing is login ID, but you don't need to provide the login ID because it's an identity column. So database engine will generate the value for it automatically. We don't need to provide any values. We just need to provide the values from here, username. So I'm just going to provide the username as my name, Vikash, and then the country is India, and then password is hello or blah blah 123, something like this. So I just created it, execute it. One row has been created. Similarly, I will add 5 to 6 rows. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Just do it like Vikas 1, then Vikas 2, then Vikas 3, then Vikas 4, then Vikas 5, and few of them are from Germany. Some is from Madagascar, right? So password by default, all of them have password blah blah 123. So just add all these records, and now just run this query, and you will be able to see that there are a number of records available now. So now we will just go and display these records on my web page. So I just have to, rest of the things are the same. Web.config will also be having the same values. You can see yesterday we discussed, like this will be the unique connection string identifier. This is again here, and again these TT files, they will contain all the logic to fetch the data from the behind, right? So you don't need to worry about from where the data and how the data will be fetched. right? You just have provided everything here, so you just need to sit back and just add a new waveform where you want to display your data. So just need to add a new item. Just go to the web and add a waveform, give it a name, display user details. Just do add, and here you just need to add a grid view. We will display the data in the grid view. Grid view has been added, and then we will add an entity data source. So the entity data source also been added. Okay, after this has been added, we just go to the design mode, and before proceeding further, we just need to build it so that everything is in place. All the things like the STT files and all those which have been generated by default, they all need to be compiled first. So we first need to compile it so that everything is in place, everything is compiled, and then after that, if we will set the data source here, this is the entity data source. We are going to configure the data source. So configuring the data source means named connection is login user details container, and then just go to the next, and here you need to select the table name, right? So on the previous page we just selected the string, connection string identifier named connection, through which it will fetch the data, and then on the next page it is asking for the entity set name. So I have provided here the entity set name, which is the user login details, and here I just want to display login ID, username and country. I don't want to display the password. Okay, so I just did finish, and now the database connection string has been successfully added. The entity data source has been successfully configured. Now we are just going to add this entity data source here, and we just want to make it a bit beautiful. So I'm just going to select the classic theme and then just apply OK, and data source I have already provided, and that's it. We are done. So now just rebuild it, or you can say build it, and then just run it. My system is a bit slow, but it will show you the results. If you want, you can move the video a bit ahead. Okay, so here you can see all the details, 1 2 3 4 5 6, these were added automatically, and this country and username, they are visible here. So this is again the same that we did yesterday. Okay, so entity framework, you can see that how you can use the entity first approach to create your own entities in a more convenient manner, and then based on the entities created by you, you can create the database tables, and then you can fetch the data from those tables, right? So this is all about for the entity first as of now. There are many more things in the entity first, but we will discuss after the basics will be covered. After the basics will be covered, I will just try to cover the advanced concepts, and then we will see that how we can do the queries on the tables dynamically, how we can fill the records, how we can update the records, and all that. So you that's all for today, and you can just like my channel, just subscribe to my channel, and then you can share the videos to your friends, and let me know if you need something else which I should cover in ASP.NET. Then let me know, I will just cover it. Okay, so that's all for today, and I will meet you soon in the next video, hopefully tomorrow. Till then, have a nice day, and bye bye.